Small guitars always catch my interest. There's just something fun about them. They always remind me of something between a toy and a guitar, which there's some, very good small guitars out there, but it's just always a challenge. There's just less material, less physics to work with. So it gets harder and harder. And structurally, sometimes there can be a problem too because of that. This guitar is an Ariana guitar made by the Aria guitar company. I have a few of their guitars from the 70s. So this is kind of their budget line. This is sort of maybe the equivalent of the Jasmine line that Takamine makes, or maybe the Maestro brand from Gibson. I don't think I paid more than about $40 for this guitar. So I'm just looking at it as an opportunity to have some fun. It doesn't sound bad. It's a little harsh, especially with a pick. Has a kind of a thin tone, almost like a keyboard almost. But yeah. Size-wise, it's, well, the model number is AW-34N, and I think the A stands for Aria, and the W Western, and the 34, I'm thinking that stands for 3/4 sized guitar, and the N, I think it's just natural, referring to the color. So if you look at it size-wise, in terms of proportions, it's just like a mini dreadnought, really, in terms of its shape. But if you compare it to like this kind of standard sized Aria classical from the 70s, you can see it's a small guitar. So I think 3/4 is probably is right in terms of describing the size. It's a little bigger than, say, a Baby Taylor, smaller than a classical. Has a shorter scale as well. So I just look at this as an opportunity. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try some silk and steel strings on here, and just play around with the tone and just try to get a kind of very mellow couch playing guitar. If you take a look at it, there's things I'm gonna have my eye on and see what I can maybe improve. So here's some things I noticed about it. One of the things that makes it fun is it has a slotted head, which is of course used typically on nylon string guitars. The idea being that here they give a sharper angle to the strings going to the headstock, sharper break angle. Supposedly sometimes you get better tone from that. And of course Martin has some very famous guitars where this guitar is nowhere in that league. But it does have that slotted head, which makes it kind of cool. I'm looking at these string slots on the nut. They're too deep. Sometimes that can cause weird vibrations. Oh boy, listen to that. What is that? Yeah. It could partially have to do with these, so I'm probably gonna make a whole new nut for it, maybe bone to warm it up even more, because this is an inexpensive plastic nut, or maybe I'll just take out those deep slots. I'm not sure which. Frets, there's a lot of material left, but I think there's definitely some uneven frets here, and I think they could all benefit from crowning, so I'll probably do that. By the way, these strings are 12 gauge, which I think is too heavy for a guitar this size. Just structurally, if you look at look at this bridge here. Can you see how it's pulling up a little bit towards the bottom, and it's definitely bellying, and so that kind of leads me to, so I think that's partially the strings are just too heavy, and I think that's partially the bridge may only be held on by these two screws here, and not necessarily glued. If I put, let me see, get my feeler gauge out here. Let's see, get something thin. It'll slide. See that? Yeah, not a tight seal. So I'm wondering if this is glued on at all, or if it's just those two screws holding it on, which is just a quick way to manufacture it, but maybe not necessarily the best thing for tone. It does have a truss rod that's adjustable. There's too much relief here in the neck in the middle, so I'm probably going to see if that truss rod is working, and if so, take out a little relief here in the middle, make the neck just a little bit flatter, less of a dip here. There's our label. There we go. Well, so that's the main things I'll be looking at with this guitar. Unfortunately, it does have some rash in the back, and I'm probably not going to touch with that. It's just time consuming trying to fix finishes. Maybe I'll touch that up a bit. But it does mean this guitar was played, so I think there's something about the form factor that's just kind of comfortable. All right then, let's go. Okay, remember that funky sound on the number 2 string? Look at this. This tuner barrel is not even going into the hole here. And then look at this gap. So I guess that's kind of good news. I don't have to find or buy a new or make a new tuner barrel. Hopefully if I close this gap here and tighten things up a bit, this will at least be seated a little bit better in this hole here. And that can't but help be a good thing. Good news for me, here's the original nut. And I've already loosened it. And as you can see, look at the bottom there. That can't be good for tone. So besides being plastic, just having that void there. So, fortunately for my reject pile, I found a bone nut that's the right width, and the string spacing is also fine. Just need to fix a little flare here. Right here, sticking out just a little bit too much on this end. Adjust the string height, and it should be good to go. Okay, barrels are a little better, seated a little better. The plates on the tuners are seated a little better. There's still a little bit of a gap, but I think for now that's about as good as it's going to get. The nut is in place. I just have to fine tune it once I get the strings on there to adjust the perfect string height. And the frets are, there were several that were just not level. So I pretty much leveled all the frets, crowned them, gave them a light polish, and now, as you can see, putting on some of my magic oil here. And what a difference that's gonna make. It's probably gonna take at least 2 coats. Okay, next on board, kind of look at this bridge. Okay, I took these screws out from the bridge. They're actually a little bit loose, but it turns out, thank goodness, this bridge is glued. Can't budge it. It's not moving. So even though it doesn't have a perfect edge over here, there's a little bit of a gap, but given how secure it feels, I'm just gonna put the screw and nuts back, and I think I'm just gonna make a bone saddle here for it. Okay, next. Well, sometimes I ask myself, why am I keeping all these old bone and plastic nuts and saddles from other guitars I work on? Here's another Aria saddle. This is from a con. Here's a Tusk saddle. What's this say? Ooh, from a Yamaha Red Label FG180. And here's the answer today. I finally get my satisfaction. So this is the saddle off of the guitar I'm working on today. And look at that. Same length. And this is made out, this old one that I kept is made out of bone. So I just need to lower it a bit. Maybe make it just a hair narrower. And then, let's see. And it should go here. Just like that. Look at the length. That's one of the key things. Should be just right. So that's why I keep them. Okay, this to me is a good saddle fit. Which is, if you turn it upside down and shake it, it doesn't fall out. But you can just use your finger strength to pull it out. Which, you know, sometimes I have to use like something like needle nose pliers. So to me, that saddle is perfect right now. Snug, but not too tight. Well, here it is. So we got what, a new intonated bone saddle, oiled. The bridge, used the same plastic pins that it came with. The fretboard, took the oil really nicely. Wow. For an inexpensive guitar, that's some pretty nice rosewood there. New silk and steel strings, 11s, bone nut. Tuners just cleaned them up. They're a little twitchy, but they're kind of these cool heavy duty things. And what do we got? So I feel like this guitar moved a little bit now from toy more in the direction of instrument. Still a little thin, you know, but still kind of fun to play. I think, I don't hardly know any blues licks, but I think it would probably make a really great little blues guitar. I don't know, does Eric Clapton count? So. Let's see, how's it go? Surprisingly, still workable as a finger picker. Anyways, this is my $40 guitar, and the idea was just to have fun with it. It's a small guitar, and I'm pretty happy with it. It'd make a great little travel guitar, a great little blues couch guitar. So have fun with your guitars if you can. Don't mess with real expensive ones unless you know what you're doing. And that's it for the little mini dreadnought.